Hello and welcome to another episode of Bloodhouse, the show where we talk about art house horror films. I'm your host, Joshua Conkle.
And I'm your co-hostess with the mostest, Drusilla Adeline. How are you doing this week, Josh?
I am okay. I have been dealing with a little depression that is based on nothing. Everything in my life is fine. It's just like emotional weather because of my dumb chemicals. And whenever I get like this, I think now is the time to do a fiction MFA, which is, of course, ridiculous.
That's a bad idea, Joshua. I'm not going to let you do this.
But I'm fine. I just went to the opening of Universal Horror Nights, which was super fun because my friend Michael has a maze in honor of his film Freaky. It's like a big, tremendous, weird, but cool thing to have.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and I got to meet Don Mancini, who created Child's Play. He was there.
I love
got
Don
to
so
meet
much.
the actress. I know. I got to meet the actress Christina Leese from Chucky, but who I know as Emily Valentine from 90210. And the whole cast of Chucky, who were great, and Vince Vaughn was there. However you feel about him, that was interesting. It was just a really fun night. Yeah.
Is there a Chucky maze as well?
Yes, there was. There's also a Killer Clowns maze for the first time ever. And there's a combined freaky black phone maze that Blumhouse put together.
Interesting. I was going to expect it to be like a combined freaky Happy Death Day maze.
They did do a Happy Death Day maze a couple of years ago, apparently. But I've never been to Universal before. I've always gone to Knott's Scary Farm.
I've never been to either, and now here's the really shameful thing for me to say about myself as a horror person who's specifically from the Midwest. I don't like haunted houses or horror mazes.
Oh, really?
They're very upsetting to me.
Like scary?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't do them. The Children's Museum in Indianapolis, which is like a big deal. They do a haunted house every year, and I was so terrified as a child that even they do like during the day, all the lights are on, they guide you through the thing, and they're like, Leatherface is gonna come out of here. He's gonna come out in 2 seconds. He's not going to hurt you. And it's all going to be fine and normal, and I still freaked out.
Oh my gosh.
I don't do them.
That's funny. I don't like crowds, and so whenever I do something like this, my love of like carnies and trashy food and roller coasters comes up against my anxiety around crowds and people, but it always wins out. Like corn dogs and roller coasters always win.
I'm a fair girl. I love a state fair, so yeah, I'm in for all of that stuff. I want my elephant ears and my lemon shake-ups, but like, don't scare me.
I'm like that with so occasionally people will ask me what horror video games I like, and I cannot stand a horror video game. It's too scary.
It's too much.
I don't like it.
I mean, I don't play video games, period. But the few horror games I've played, I'm like, this is too stressful.
It's too scary.
This is too much. Don't put me there. I want to watch someone else do that. I've also been horribly depressed.
Oh no.
But less because of chemicals. Shit's been whack, man. Been in a not super good place. But you know, we're working on it. Just did a photo shoot yesterday. That was incredible with Savannah Ogburn, and so I'm
cool.
Very much looking forward to those photos coming in soon, and I think that's gonna be a good little like boost of self-love that I might need.
Is it a personal project or a work project?
Neither. A good personal project, I guess. It was just like friends with Savannah, so I was like,
yeah,
okay. It's a very religious kink themed photo shoot, so we'll see how much of these I'm able to post publicly.
Love that. That sounds great.
Shameful about them. But that's the point, is to feel shameful about a religious kink. So I don't know.
Totally, it's the fun.
Have you been watching anything of note lately, Josh?
Oh, actually, yes, I have. And one of them I have you to thank for. I'm holding the Blu-ray, which you lent me, which is Caltiki the Immortal Monster, directed by Ricardo Freda and Mario Bava, our boy Mario Bava, and I loved it. It's like sort of an Italian ripoff of The Blob in a way. That's a little ungenerous, but it's super fun. It's like a blob monster, only this time it's like a monster that's been living in the ruins of like an Incan civilization that gets discovered by some scientists who are doing a dig, and they actually bring it back to, I guess, Italy, wherever they're from, and it's a blob. It's super great, super fun, super colorful and beautiful, and I loved it.
It's so much fun. It's one of my like I don't even I came across it by accident
Mm-hmm.
basically, and it's become one of my favorite like Saturday morning comfort movies because
Yeah, it has that vibe about it.
it has that like full like Twilight Zone, Outer Limits kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it's doing the Blob, but it's also doing Creature in the Black Lagoon. And it's also
Very
doing
much.
like the Quatermass experiment. And like
Yeah,
the special
it's cool.
effects are so fucking cool.
They're really good actually. How do you know how Mario Bava came to like co-direct this movie? It seems so
I
odd.
believe he did a few movies with Ricardo Freda, and two different times the same thing happened on this and on I, Vampiri,
Hmm.
which was Freda was hired to direct. He brought Mario Bava on to do special effects and to be the cinematographer. And midway through both movies, Ricardo Freda just left. Disputes with the producers or something. He was just like,
Yeah, yeah,
"I'm over it." And so they were like, how are we gonna finish this movie?" Which is how all Italians talk.
yeah.
And Mario Bava stepped up and just was like, "Well, I'm already the DP and doing the special effects. I might as well just finish this fucking movie."
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, all of the like drawing room romance scenes in Caltiki, you're like, whatever. Show me goop.
Yeah, it's really fun though. I really enjoyed it. And then the other thing I saw, which I've been wanting to see for ages, and finally just had to get like a bootleg copy of it off the internet, was The Haunting of Julia.
Full
In
Circle
weird,
with Mia Farrow.
yes, aka Full Circle in the UK, the original title, starring Mia Farrow, my girl from Rosemary's Baby. It's gorgeous. I loved it. Reminded me a lot of The Changeling. And weirdly, I watched it the same week that Peter Straub passed away, who's the author of the book that this is based on. And it was just coincidence. Like I watched this before he passed, and I really love this movie. I know that it's never had a DVD or Blu-ray release because of distribution things, but it's so good. It's worth tracking down. It's like $20 for a bootleg DVD on the internet.
It
And,
used to just be on
it's really worth it.
YouTube way back
I couldn't
when.
find it on YouTube. I mean, things get torn down off of YouTube all the
Hmm.
time. So, and I actually, it used to be on Shudder for a second,
Really?
or Netflix maybe. This was like maybe 2016, 2017, and I started it, but just for some reason only watched like 10 minutes of it. Not because I didn't like it, just something happened.
I think the same thing happened to
And
me. I
then,
remember seeing the first 5 or 10 minutes and being like, can't believe I have access to this movie. Holy shit. And they didn't finish.
yeah, I have to send like a screen grab of the opening credits to you because I want to know what font it is because I love it. So very paperbacks from hell kind of aesthetic.
Hmm.
It's good.
I live for
Really
that.
classy European horror. I loved it.
I'm very excited to finally see that movie. And off of your recommendation, I'm definitely gonna have to like sit down and do it in full. Because there's a lot of those like unseen horror classics that are hard to track down that you're like, is it good or is it just rare?
This is good,
And so,
actually.
yeah, I'm very happy to hear
Yeah,
that it is
and
like,
the copy I had is super fun because it's obviously from like a Saturday afternoon TV thing. There's no commercials, but there's like a bug in the bottom right hand corner that's like Saturday scares or whatever. You know, like,
that someone has
it's
like
pretty fun.
painstakingly cut all of the commercials out of or something.
Yeah, yeah, and you don't feel the lack of them. It doesn't feel janky in that way, which is nice. But it
That's
does have that little taste of like
that's
Saturday afternoon television.
that's precious to me. That's incredible.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
gold.
I
What about you?
also dipped into some Mia Farrow that
Ooh.
I've been trying to see for a little bit, and I watched the movie that she did, I think the same year as Rosemary's Baby,
Mhm.
Secret Ceremony with Elizabeth
Yes.
Taylor.
I really want to see this.
This is a wild movie. I heard about this because a friend of mine, Jose, who is a big poster collector, the person that I buy a lot of my posters from, got a tattoo of it.
Wow.
And I was like, what is this movie? This looks insane. And he was like, I'm not going to tell you anything about it other than it's Mia Farrow, Elizabeth Taylor, and Robert Mitchum. Go watch it. And it took me years. It's from Joseph Losey, who directed Boom with Elizabeth Taylor, John Waters' favorite movie, and The
Yeah.
Servant. And it's somewhere in between those. It's somewhere in between the like camp, we fucked up because we're all too drunk movie of Boom, and actually being a good psychological chamber drama like The Servant. And it's just like Mommy Kink the movie.
Great. Sign me up.
Mia Farrow is just like a woman in her mid-20s who just acts like she's 12, meets a woman on a bus and decides that she's her mommy now,
Ooh.
and takes her back to her big dilapidated mansion in England, and it's fucked up. It's super
That
fun.
sounds good.
It's super fun. Highly recommend it.
Would you do a double feature of that with the baby?
Oh
Would
my
that be a good double
God.
feature?
That's very different, but honestly, yeah. Because they both have very, like, kind of, like, fucked up endings in the way that you're like, ooh, interesting. Yeah, I think that's... Maybe you do the baby and then you do Secret Ceremony just to grow it up a little bit.
Yeah. That sounds good. Anyway, anything else you want to mention that you watched?
I mean, I also saw the new George Miller movie, 3,000 Years of Longing.
I'm dying to see that. And I think you told me that it didn't perform very well.
Oh, it bombed because MGM didn't know how to market it. But it's fucking really beautiful and really precious, and like, it's really, really, really sweet. Tilda Swinton is great in it. Idris Elba is so fucking hot in it. And it's just like a fairy tale for adults. It's really, really, really nice. I think the part of the problem that they've had trouble marketing it is that, like, if it had a whole lot less sex, it would be PG, and then they could be like, take the family to go see this movie about djinns and genies and, like,
Right.
stuff like that. But it's incredibly horny and has a lot of orgy sequences. And so now they're like, ooh, do you like Eyes Wide Shut and Babe Pig in the City? You'll love.
Well, aesthetically, it didn't seem too far from Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is a huge hit. So it feels like there's a marketing template that they could have used. But I also know that movie's success was in some part due to word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
It reminds me the most of that Lee Pace movie, The Fall.
Mm-hmm.
From, way back in the dark
Yeah,
days
I
of
remember.
2003. And I think that movie also, like, severely underperformed at the box office. Like, no one saw it in theaters. But, like, these are both incredibly beautiful, sumptuous movies that are just, like, worlds you don't want to stop living in. And I just thought 3,000 Years of Longing was just incredibly fun and incredibly beautiful and, like, thrilling and funny and lighthearted and sweet and erotic, and like, it's incredible. I liked it a lot. If it's still in theaters, I highly recommend you go track it down, and if not, pay for it on streaming or something. Like,
yeah, I almost saw it when I was in Idylwilde because they have like a cute little country theater there, and they were playing it, and then I just didn't, and now I'm kicking myself.
cute little country theater. Oh my god.
Have you ever been to Idylwilde? I just went there for the weekend, and it was it's so
always
cute.
wanted to
It reminds
go.
me of being in Washington State where I grew up.
Ugh,
Alpine little bohemian village. It's just so charming.
that sounds incredible. That's all I want, a little country theater, and then I want to go to a little country diner after. I want to go
Yeah,
see.
they have plenty of that. There's a place called the Red Kettle just down the street, and you could walk to the Red Kettle and have some biscuits and gravy or whatever floats your boat.
I want some biscuits and gravy as a starter to a country fried steak, and then have a slice of apple pie at the end.
Yeah. We stay in a small country town.
Okay, this is what I'm doing in October. I'm going up to Idlewild.
You'll love it, I promise.
Or maybe I'll wait until I get some snow up there. Oh, God.
Yeah,
I
I suppose it does snow up there. Yeah.
Mm.
Shall we pivot to the film of the day?
We shall do as they say in my least favorite quote from my least favorite show, pivot. Um,
Pivot.
what are we talking about this week, Josh? What have I cajoled you into finally seeing?
Well, I think this might have been my pick because I hadn't actually seen it and I wanted an excuse to.
It was
So,
your pick, and I was very excited that it was your pick because I love this movie so very, very much.
from 2016, directed by Nicholas Winding Refn, starring Elle Fanning, Jenna Malone, and Keanu Reeves, it is The Neon Demon.
Cue synth score.
So I wanted to see this. I knew aesthetically what it was like. I thought it looked really beautiful. I've mentioned many times how much I love fashion horror films, or any horror films that are set in and around the fashion industry or the art world, or just like really sophisticated urban people. And anytime I tweet about that or mention that, people are like, the Neon Demon. I have not seen Drive, which is one of the other big movies by this director. I have seen his Lincoln commercials that he made with Matthew McConaughey.
He directed those?
Am I familiar?
I
Yes.
didn't know that. That's so funny. That makes a lot of sense.
So sometimes an advertising agency is like, here, can we give you millions of dollars to do this incredibly banal thing? And you say, yes, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I hadn't seen this, and I really enjoyed it. I liked it.
I'm very pleased with that because The Neon Demon remains one of the most divisive movies in recent memory. Which
Devices for whom? Just like general audiences?
everyone, like
Okay.
horror fans, like art film fans, like
Mhm.
general moviegoers, my friend groups, like if I've stopped bringing this movie up with people
Wow.
because I don't know how people are going to react to it because I know some people that are like, that's the worst fucking movie ever made. I couldn't finish it. And other people are like,
Gosh.
that is misogynistic trash. It is garbage. It made me fucking sick
Mhm.
watching it. Or other people that are
God.
like, ugh, it just leans on such homophobic stereotypes and like they don't know anything about the photography scene or the pains of modeling and how dare they comment on some of these things. And I'm just like,
Oh,
I
shut
like it a
up.
lot.
Get a job. I hate those sorts of like moralistic comments.
A lot of people hate this movie.
That makes sense to me. When I think of a movie like that, it's sort of like Mother exclamation point by Aronofsky.
Another
Like,
movie I
that's that kind of- it does have that sort of air about it. I will say, like, aesthetically, this is a 5-star movie for me. It looks so beautiful. The music is incredible. The fashions are incredible. It just looks stunning. Every single moment looks super stunning. As a movie, it's probably closer to like 3 stars. um, because the movie is very cold, and it is this way by design. It's not a flaw of the movie. It's a feature. The movie is very cold and distant, and it's hard to like attach to any of the characters, which is fine. But something about it just makes it a little bit of a cold and distant experience in a way that, I don't know. If I liked Elle Fanning more, maybe I would like the movie more. And I hate saying that because it makes me feel like ignorant. You know, I hate when people are like, "Oh, the characters aren't likable" or any of that stupid stuff. But in this case, I sort of felt like, "Oh, I wish maybe if I liked her more," or I don't know. I don't know we'll talk about it.
Maybe
I
if you liked her less,
unclear
you
about
would
my
like
own
it more.
feelings. What?
Maybe if you liked Elle Fanning less, you would like Neon Demon more.
Maybe true. I mean, I do like the second half more than the first half.
Agreed.
Well, that's not true. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't quite understand my own feelings towards this movie, to be frank. So let's get into it.
Well, okay. Let me talk about how I first saw this movie. Because it was a fucking trip. And, okay, so this came out in 2016. I was fresh to LA. I was living in Koreatown. And it was like the middle of summer, balls out hot. And my roommate and I were like, let's just go see a movie to go get out of the heat and get some air conditioning. So we walked up to the Los Feliz 3, and they were showing Neon Demon, and I was like, oh yeah, it's the guy who did Drive. I liked that in high school. Sure, fine. It's gonna be pretty. It's gonna be about models. I was expecting somewhere between Showgirls and All About Eve.
Okay. I buy that. That's nothing like this movie at all.
I had not seen any of the marketing, and all I'd seen was the posters that were like, glittery glam, good lighting, and actors and like models. And I was like, cool.
Yeah.
It's called Neon Demon, but I'm sure demon is being used very like metaphorically. Got it. This is going to be the fancy art house version of uh um it's that Meryl Streep Anne Hathaway movie.
Devil Wears
Devil
Prada.
Wears Prada. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's what they're doing. Cool, 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 fun, 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 fun. And then like midway through this movie, my jaw just kind of like unhinged when I realized what was going on, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh no, he's trying to be Lucio Fulci in Dario Argento
Yeah.
lighting."
Yeah. Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life, and like I've never been as like genuinely shocked and like gagging upset at something. Like I like nearly puked a few times in the theater watching this movie, and I fucking loved it.
I have a sense because I watched this. We're recording this quite a while after watching the movie, just because of scheduling stuff. And I have a feeling already that it's the sort of movie that I'll like more with time. It's kind of gnawing at the back of my mind, to be frank, a lot, which makes me want to watch it again.
It's fitting for this
which is always a
movie.
good sign. Because that's how some of my favorite movies have been. Like Daughters of Darkness was that way. Possession was like, these are movies that I was like, oh, interesting. And that's it the first time. And then they just kept gnawing at me and gnawing at me. And I kept coming back to them. And now I'm like obsessed with them. So I have a feeling this will be one of those. Synopsis wise, I guess we can say Elle Fanning plays a teenage girl named Jessie who is fresh to LA from Georgia. And her parents are dead. She doesn't seem to have anyone in the world. And she becomes a model. And over the course of the movie, you are increasingly aware of how people are obsessed with her and sometimes infuriated by her and sometimes made violent by her incredible beauty. She seems to have a beauty that is supernatural, that attracts and repels people, I guess. And over the course of the movie, she transforms from like sort of sweet, naive, innocent girl to something that's really somehow dark and, for lack of a better word, kind of evil. And that's kind of it. I mean, it reaches a crescendo. But anything to say to that or change or amend?
I think just and then after that the whole bottom drops out and the whole movie shifts and changes pretty drastically in a really like beautiful and shocking way. But also like it does a pretty good job of like getting at the horrors of being a model in Los Angeles and like
Yeah.
it does a really, really good job of just starting you with banal horrors of like the fucking like skeevy ass photographers.
Yeah.
Not knowing who you can trust in a new town, a new industry that is all about preying on your body. She even like the female characters that are supposed to be on her side, her like representative played by Christina Hendricks is like, oh, you're underage? We're gonna tell people you're 19.
Yeah, that's a really great scene. She goes to this modeling agency run by this woman, Roberta, played by Christina Hendricks from Mad Men. And she tells her, pretend you're 19. And just gives her, she's like, I think you're perfect. But sometimes people are going to call you fat. You know what I mean? Just like the most toxic kind of fashion industry woman ever. Played so well by Christina Hendricks. It's a really great scene. Pretty chilling.
There's very few people this entire movie that aren't like deeply upsetting. There's like an amateur up and coming photographer who she starts dating a little bit. That's also like
awful.
A pretty shitty dude who's only focused on his own career and kind of using her to get himself up. There's a like super famous photographer who like they talk into like doing her test shoots, who is like super pervy and gross and handsy and is absolutely based on a real photographer.
Yes.
Who I'm not going to name by names. And, you know, even the other like senior models that she meets that are
they're
like,
the worst
introduced
honestly.
Well, yes they are, but they're introduced as being like friendly and we're going to take you out and we'll let you know what this world is. And they corner her immediately and are constantly kind of fighting against her. But they're also
Yeah.
presented as being sweet and broken and victims as well. There's a great
Yeah.
scene where Jenna Malone and her two model girlfriends essentially go out to a little diner together.
Which is Bright Spot, which is my neighborhood diner,
I've
which
never
I
been. I
love.
always wanted to go when I watched this movie. I always think it's in like
Yeah.
Pasadena or something.
No,
Um,
no, no. Echo Park.
but it's really, really sweet because the like hostess comes over and is like, "Would you like to hear the specials?" And one of them is like, "Yes, I would." And they're like, "You're not gonna get any food. You're not gonna eat." And she's like, "But they have to learn the specials. I want to at least hear it."
This movie dances a lot of around a lot of like really philosophical, for lack of a better word, questions that I'm interested in and I've always wanted to write about. And now I feel like I remember how I always talk about how I want to write like a fashion horror movie.
hmm
I don't think I can now because this movie is like exploring the questions that I wanted to explore, like that I've never seen explored in a movie before. Like, what is beauty? How important is beauty? What is taste? Is there good taste and bad taste? Like all these like sort of like kind of big aesthetic philosophical questions that I think are really interesting and don't get asked that much. I mean, a year ago I was like Googling like philosophy of aesthetics, and there's not a lot written about these. Like, what is art? Why is it important? What is beauty? Is beauty subjective? Like all of these sorts of questions. And it's really interesting because in LA, you know, as I age, as a queer person who works in this, as a queer man who works in this industry, I do feel a lot of the time that like beauty is the only currency. And it's really upsetting and it's really hard to deal with. And this movie touches on that question really well.
I mean, they directly call it out in a really great scene with the fashion designer who's just being such a gross fucking asshole and like actively comparing a woman who is like very open and proud of her plastic surgery and just shaming her in front of this fucking 16-year-old girl.
Yeah, comparing her to Elle Fanning, who hasn't had any surgeries and is in a quote unquote natural beauty. And he's saying to this woman who's open about her plastic surgeries that she'll never be beautiful, truly.
And she's so proud of her plastic surgery.
She's so stunning.
She's fucking incredible.
I mean, everyone in this movie is so beautiful.
Everyone in this movie is 10 out of 10, super hot. Speaking of someone that I didn't realize was in the movie, so I saw this movie in theaters, like I was saying, and then I loved it so much I didn't watch it again. It was one of those movies where I was like, if I watch it again, there's the possibility I will like it less, that it will be like lessened for me. So I never want to waste that perfect experience I had. But of course, I watched it, you know, again for this podcast and was like, nope, it's still incredible, if not better.
Oh, good.
But one of my favorite, like, surprise, incredibly hot people who shows up in this movie, only has one scene, but it's fucking Jamie Clayton from Hellraiser,
Yes.
the new Hellraiser, and from Sense8 and the L Word.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with her. Jamie Clayton is the reason I transitioned.
Wow.
I love her so much. I've gotten to meet her on a handful of occasions, and she's one of the nicest human beings in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Her character on Nomi on Sense8 is like the character played by a trans woman who's written by trans women, directed by trans women, is, surprise, surprise, incredible representation. It's something that like deeply affected me. Yeah, like that whole character means a lot to me, and so rewatching Neon Demon and seeing her as the casting director, in the scene where they're kind of fully nude and on display like slabs of meat for this fashion designer who's a fucking monster, is like beautiful to see her in that. I love that, like, we got her in there, and it's granted this, you know, may have been during the time when she was dating Keanu Reeves, but still, I'm so happy to see Jamie in this movie. It's such a like, oh yeah, this movie isn't like that evil. We at least get like some rays of beauty in here. Nice.
I don't think the movie's evil at all. I think it's about people who are evil, but actually is pretty kind.
I think it's an incredibly kind movie, and I think even some of the characters that are depicted as being like super evil by the end of the movie are actually like sweet and precious. Like,
Yeah.
I think, kind of the heroes of the movie, which is a really fucked up thing to say. But, like, there's three characters in this movie that I'm like, it's their movie. It's not Elle Fanning's movie. It's their movie. This is their story. They are victims.
Speaking of Elle Fanning,
No, you're right. Elle Fanning. Elle flogging.
Elle Fanning. Elf vlogging. I will say the thing that took this from like a 5-star movie to a 3-star movie for me is her performance, which I was surprised by because I normally really like her. I really love The Great that she's the star of on Hulu. I've seen her in a lot of things where I thought she was really good. And I don't think that she's bad in this movie. I assume it's the direction.
It's the direction. Nicholas Winding Refn really likes his like stoic, brought down performances, and especially for, you know, this role to be like the central figure that everyone kind of like gloms on and attaches to. Having her kind of be more of a cipher, I think.
That's what I thought. I mean, I did understand that, okay, this character is meant to be a cipher because it's more about how people what's important is how people react to her and treat her.
She has no personality.
She has no personality, no interiority that I could really sense. And I don't know. I felt like it wasn't my favorite choice in this case.
I think that's something I appreciated more on the rewatch. I think, when I first saw the movie, I really, like, I've rewatched Drive less and have less desire to, because it's more about that and less about the ideas and the styles and the violence. It's more about like the interiority of a man. And sure, fine, whatever. And so I don't really like movies that are, it's a super modern tradition of like slow it all down, minimize the performance, and like, I'm so sick of that shit. And so when I saw Neon Demon in theaters for the first time, I was so enraptured with the visuals that I was like, I'll let that slide. Fine, sure. But then as soon as Jenna Malone steps in, I'm like,
this movie belongs to her.
It's her movie.
She's incredible in this. And I felt like, I mean, I maybe I just haven't seen that many Jenna Malone movies, but when I saw her, I was like, oh God, I really miss her. It's been a while since I've seen her.
She's still doing stuff.
She's so good in this. I'm sure she is. I'm not meaning to say like poor Jenna. I just feel like I haven't seen her. I've seen Donnie Darko and then this, and that's maybe all.
Have you seen Saved?
Oh yes, of course, Saved. Yes, she's great in that.
I love Jenna Malone. I think she's incredible, and whenever she shows up in anything, I'm always like, oh, I keep forgetting how much I love you. You're so freaking great. I mean, I watched freaking Sucker Punch just for Jenna Malone.
So Jenna Malone in this is an older than Elle, not old.
She's like 32.
Yeah, maybe, if that. And she's like a professional makeup artist who works in this industry, and she sort of takes Elle under her wing and is a sort of a mentor, big sister character to her until there's a turn. She realized that she was never trustworthy. She's really great in this. Again, a very small, quiet performance, but compared to Elle, and again, this is like probably direction, there's like a lot going on under the surface with her. Yeah, it's great.
She also, like, I mean, Elle kind of like walks through this movie, again, like as the character should, from like script to direction, walks through this movie, stands around, models, looks uncomfortable, walks into another scene, stands around, looks uncomfortable. That's the performance, and that's kind of like the idea until she starts to get a bit more ferocious.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Jenna Malone is like constantly playing the snake in the garden, constantly like has 17 other things going on inside of her, and is super hot, super seductive, super confident, and then does some of the most insane things I've seen any actress do in any movie in the final half hour of this, that I was just like, a win for lesbians everywhere. There's a shot of her in this movie that I forgot exists entirely, because this movie is just wall to wall with beautiful imagery, most of which lit in what was being coined at the time of being bi-lighting. But this is much more like thought out and beautiful and like intelligent than like, I don't know, Possessor or something.
Yeah.
But there's a scene set at like daybreak near the end of the movie that's like outside in natural lighting, and it's just Jenna Malone laying face down in the dirt with a bunch of like, it's surrounded by flowers, and she's smoking, and she's topless, and she's covered in tattoos, and she's just laying there. And there's another more fucked up quality to this I'm not gonna talk about, but like, holy shit, it's one of those, I want to hire someone to paint that.
Well, also you mentioned her tattoos. When she takes off her top at the end of the movie and you see all her tattoos, they're all occult symbols, which begs the question. And this isn't like a linear sort of movie that could ever really answer this question, but it begs the question, like, is this in some way a sort of Rosemary's Baby type story where she has some sort of dark magic intentions towards Elle Fanning the whole time? Because it does pay off in a sort of ritualistic black magic kind of way. And so I just thought it was a really interesting choice. And I do know that this was in part inspired by the story of Elizabeth Bathory, which also inspired Daughters of Darkness.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the best things about this movie is that it plays its supernatural cards incredibly close to its chest. That it doesn't give you any like hints or anything along the way. And so when things like finally start to like bleed in, slip in, they're not heavily pronounced.
No.
They're allowed to be like wallpaper, set dressing a little bit, and then nothing is made obvious. So you're able to sit there and be like, oh, is this just like Manson psychos doing what psychos do?
Yeah.
Or is this real?
Yeah. It's really cool.
It's super fucking
I also
cool.
want to, I'm already loving this movie more than I did at the start of this episode. I also want to shout out Keanu Reeves, who I thought was so great in this. And I haven't seen a lot of later Keanu Reeves work. You know, I think of like, of course, Bill and Ted and Parenthood and Dracula, which he's not great in, but still charming.
My Own Private Idaho, which he's incredible in.
Of course, My Own Private Idaho. He's very good in this in a way that surprised me. And I like Keanu Reeves a lot. I have a lot of affection for him. But I actually never really thought he was much of an actor in terms of being able to transform. He's great in this.
My Own Private Idaho was the thing that convinced me that, oh no, he's an incredible actor.
I need to rewatch that.
He's freaking phenomenal, and he's capable of so much. Because he's like, you know, playing like a wise queer street hustler, and also like speaking in iambic pentameter half the fucking movie. Like, holy shit. Say what you will about his accent in Dracula, I think he's still very good in Dracula.
I like him in Dracula, but it's almost in spite of what he's doing, because I feel like he and Winona Ryder are pretty miscast in it. And I know that Winona made the movie happen, so that's why she's
and she cast him just because she thought he was hot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, why else? But I do think it helps that movie in a weird way, because it helps Dracula, which this episode is not about, but let's talk about it for a second. It helps that movie feel like a classic Hollywood movie, which is part of the style and tone of it, because in classic Hollywood, you had the star system at the studios. So movies were always just full of people who weren't right for those parts because they were stars and contractually they had to be in a movie. So for me, their performances help the movie feel like that.
Otherworldly in a way. Yeah, it's like intentional
like
dubbing where you're like, okay, all right. It's very funny because, Gary Oldman and Richard E. Grant feel like beyond perfect for their roles. Like, Richard E. Grant is like giving an Oscar-worthy performance as Dr. Seward and adding so much more to the character than was ever in any book or other edition. And it's
also Tom Waits as Renfield is like incredible.
Honestly, the movie could have just been Tom Waits and Richard E. Grant in their little like psych ward for like 90 minutes, and it could have been like an Oscar contender. But they're like, no, that's just in the background of this insane fucking movie. Anyway, Keanu Reeves is great and has shown so much more recently the like depth of his range. I mean, he's become like big action man again. Yeah.
Which I've never seen the John Wick movies, and I'm told I would actually love them.
You would love, if you like the visual aesthetic of Neon Demon, you would love the John Wick movies. But like his performance And the latest Matrix movie is heartbreaking
Hmm.
and
Wow.
incredible. What Lana Wachowski and Keanu have done revisiting that role and that
Hmm.
world with that movie is incredible. The amount of like the sequels to The Matrix were so obsessed with like internal politics and like these bigger themes and ideas and all this stuff. And like 20 years later, after they've both lived such more full lives, especially Lana having lived so much more of a life, um, they're so much more personal. And
Hmm.
it's about exploring the same ideas of the first movie, but from a more mature lens. And it's fucking heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I
Interesting.
love Keanu, and I always forget he's in Neon Demon because he's very
It doesn't
tertiary.
feel like Keanu. I mean, I have a sense of like what Keanu feels like in a movie, and it doesn't feel
He's
like that. It feels
terrifying, isn't he?
dangerous and scary and yeah, really awful. He plays the hotel manager of the Divey Hotel where Elle Fanning lives in Pasadena. So for context, that's who he is. Um, there's a great scene when she is opening her hotel room and there's a shape and she freaks out and closes it and goes and gets him and someone else who works at the hotel and they break down the door and there's a mountain lion in her room or like a panther or it's like a mountain lion, I think. And they never comment on it or explain it, but it's so cool and interesting.
It's one of those things that like if you're not from LA and you watch that scene, you're like, ugh, all right, there's your artsy fartsy little weirdness starting to bleed in. But then two
Yeah.
days after I rewatched this, I got a text from a producer I work with, and she sent me a link to like unprompted, just like a safety thing of like mountain lion spotted walking through Silver Lake, and I was like, all
Yeah.
right, Nicholas, there you go.
This is a great LA movie for reasons like that. I mean, the thing about LA is everyone in America shits on it. California in general, but especially LA. And there's this glamour to it, but there's also this gloom. And it's a really interesting city. More than any other city, and especially compared to New York, LA is as seedy as it's ever been, if not more so. Like
Hmm.
it somehow resists gentrification broadly, and this way that other cities haven't managed. And so you really have like extreme poverty butting up against extreme glamour and glitz in this way that's striking and sad, but also beautiful and it can be quite frightening. It's a really interesting city that this movie captures really well.
Yeah, one of the best things about this movie is that like the horrors are so like barely below the surface, and that's exactly what LA is like. But it's also
Yeah.
like painfully beautiful and like depressing all at the same time, and that's addictive in the same way this
Yeah.
movie is. Like again, like when I first saw this, I didn't like Elle Fanning's performance, and like also the first time I saw it, I didn't like the performance of the other two models. On rewatch, I love their performances. They are amazing. Um, but you can't help but be pulled into it. It's an incredibly hypnotic movie. It does a great job of like trancing you. Um,
There's another great scene where Jenna Malone's character goes to her second job as a makeup artist for corpses at like a funeral home. And then she has sex with the dead body
uh-huh,
of the woman.
uh-huh.
It's really shocking.
But it's super shocking at first, and it goes on longer than you would expect a scene like that to go on. Because it's not about the shock. It's about the emotional interiority of Jenna Malone's character, which
It's
is
pretty beautiful to be
it is, and it's like super upsetting because of that. Because you're watching this, and it's not like, oh, she's a defiling a corpse just for her to get off. She's like pleasing the corpse,
Yeah.
which, pleasing the corpse, new script title.
Did you ever see those old cult movies? They're called Necromantic and
Yes,
Necromantic
I've
2.
seen Necromantic.
It made me think of. I haven't seen that. I saw those in high school and I've only seen them once.
They are
But that's what I.
dingy and gross to look at, those movies. They make you really feel like ick, yeah. And so doing that kind of stuff, but in this very posh, pretty, seductive lighting
Yeah.
is like it's super fucky. It's very evil in that way.
There's another great scene where she is at like I guess a party or something with the other models, and she goes into this. It's hard to describe, like liminal space.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if she's like having a vision or something, but there's all these bright lights that are like literally neon lights and shapes, but they're like again occult symbols, a lot of them. And it's after this that she seems to start to transform. So it seems like a transformative. I don't know what to call it, a liminal space where she's like having a vision.
There's a few like liminal space transformation sequences in this. The exact midpoint of this movie is her first runway show, in which she's told like 2 seconds before that she's going to be closing. And then, you know, we've all seen a runway. We've all seen Zoolander. Yes. We expect what a runway is to look like. And she steps out into like a black void with a pulsing neon like sigil triangle at the end, and she walks, and it's like flashing blue. She walks towards it. She gets like up next to it. It changes color, and then she walks back. And like that is their way of giving her first runway walk, and like completely affecting her from the inside out, and like giving her another massive transformation. And she is not the same person after. And it's this movie kind of reminds me of like Robert Altman's Three Women in that way.
I love Three Women
because there's these very subtle. It's about like super subtle relationships between women, and the way that women's personalities change, affect, grow, and morph being around these other women that like bring things out of them, and in Three Women also in super fucked up weird ways. I also feel like, I mean, again, if we're programming a double feature with Neon Demon, the only option is Mulholland Drive.
Oh, that's a great double
Mulholland Drive is
feature.
also
Doomed Hollywood.
Doomed Hollywood.
Lana Del Rey vibes.
Yup. Another one where you think you're following a specific character the whole movie, and then something drops out, and it completely recontextualizes stuff with lesbianism.
Mm-hmm. I think, you know what I just thought of would make a good double feature, and this is a bit of a weird one, but follow me. A movie that we covered recently, The Lure, would make a good
yes.
Because it's about like the double-edged sword of beauty and the unfortunate, possibly, power that beauty gives women.
And they both have such incredibly infectious music, and they both have such like glittery, beautifully lit cinematography. And they came out around the same time. I remember seeing them around the same time.
Yeah, The Lure is 2015 and this is 2016.
I think I saw The Lure after this because it took a while to get to America. But yeah, these were like very formative, like starting in LA movies for me of like what I want to make. I think The Lure I had a similar reaction to, of you watching The Neon Demon and being like, oh, well, guess I have to throw out that script. Which is a great feeling, but also frustrating.
Yeah.
But also like
yeah.
It makes me very happy.
I'll tell you the moments that I did really connect to Elle Fanning's character. There's two of them, and in both moments she is really clear-eyed and honest and self-aware about the power that her beauty gives her. And one is before she transforms, and she's talking to this man that she's dating, who's like an amateur photographer or an aspiring photographer, and she says, you know, my mom used to call me dangerous because of my beauty, and I don't have any talent. I can't sing or act or write, but I know that I'm pretty, and I can use that to my advantage. And she just really simply is very clear-minded about it. And then after she transforms, at the climax of the movie, she says, I know that I'm beautiful. Women will starve themselves and cut themselves to look like a half-rate version of me. And she's just like very savagely open about the power that she knows that her beauty gives her in this world. And it's really cool.
Honestly,
really cool.
Like she becomes the scariest character in the movie to me at that point.
Yeah, she becomes a monster. It's like a Frankenstein story almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This movie does so much. And then the final scene of this film is, I think gut wrenching is a really good way of describing it. And the like absolute disconnect, because again, like a lot of people have shat on the performances of the two models in this
I thought they
film,
were great.
but especially in that final scene.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And that final scene also like pays off the detached performances perfectly.
Yeah, it's quite frightening actually.
Mhm.
That whole last sequence around the pool and that beautiful house is pretty frightening to me.
Makes me
Um
hungry.
I love this movie. I've decided I'm bumping it from 3 stars at least to 4 stars, but maybe I'll watch it again. But let's pivot to our favorite game, Have They Seen It? The game where we speculate wildly as to whether notable figures have seen this movie. Do you have anyone in mind? I've got a people.
I mean, so my whole I was thinking about, and this is stupid and I'm not doing it, but I was just thinking about how the Queen is recently dead, and
Yes.
has Queen Elizabeth seen the Neon Demon? But I'm like, of course she wouldn't. Hasn't even heard of it. I'm just being
No.
gimmicky based on,
Yeah.
the times. So I'll wind it back to another queen, an American queen of fashion, um, for better or worse.
Yeah.
Do you think that Anna Wintour has seen the Neon Demon?
Drusilla, I don't know if you know this about me, but I love Anna Wintour and I'm like completely fascinated by her. And I think that she has seen this. I feel like
Really?
she has because of Nicholas Winding Refn is also has a lot of overlap with the fashion industry. Of course, Elle Fanning does. I feel like Elle Fanning's been on Vogue, on the cover of Vogue. I feel like she's seen it.
Would
Or
would
if she hasn't seen it, she's certainly aware of it because there are so many models in it.
hmm
I feel like it was on her radar.
I feel like
Guaranteed.
Anna Wintour got the like engraved invite to the LA premiere or the New York premiere of it, and then was like,
Yeah.
no.
I think that might be right. I mean, she doesn't do anything that she doesn't want to do.
hmm
She's actually been making a real concerted effort over the last 10 or so years to humanize her image because of Devil Wears Prada. She didn't really understand the image that people had of her. And so, that now they're doing like 73 questions with Anna Wintour on YouTube and like doing interviews with her and stuff. She never did any of that crap before.
They
She's
gave
like,
her a
oh,
little
people think
cameo
I'm
in
a
Ocean's
monster.
8 just to like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. She's trying to like have a sense of humor about herself a little bit. But anyway, in answer to your question, I think you're probably right. I think she was invited. I think she's aware of it. I think it's on her radar, but maybe she hasn't.
What do you think her reaction would be if she did see it, though?
I don't think that she would love it. But I think, I think she would have like a cold indifference to it. I don't think she would hate it. I think she would appreciate some of the fashion and lighting and sort of artistry of it. She is a woman who is concerned with beauty above all things, right? So I think that on that level, she would appreciate it.
This movie is begging for cold indifference, so yes.
It is, yeah.
Who do you have in mind? Who are you thinking about?
This is also someone from fashion. Well, maybe we'll make this an all fashion. I don't know. You can pick whoever you want. This is a person who's like the low, sort of tacky. No shade, but some shade. Do you think that Tyra Banks has seen Neon Demon?
Ooh. No. I'm gonna give a harsh no to that. I think she's aware of it. I think she doesn't fuck with horror movies.
Yeah.
And I think she also is like offended by this movie's existence.
She's probably somebody who like considers models like a marginalized
Yeah.
group of people. Like, how you're not a model, you can't talk about us, you can't tell our stories.
She also seems like the kind of person who would, like, at parties, if this movie's brought up, she would be like, "Ah, that movie's based on me." And you're like, no? Have you seen it?
She's so... One thing I do find very relatable about Tyra Banks is that she and I are both, as far as I know, the only two people who are deathly afraid of dolphins. I I hate dolphins. I think they're disgusting.
They're rapists.
And there's an episode of her old talk show where everyone has to face their fears, and then her fear is that she's afraid of dolphins, and she has to put on a wetsuit and get into a pool with dolphins. And it's so funny.
Honestly, I would watch that. I don't like Tyra Banks, so
She's awful.
She's awful.
She's awful.
Honestly,
do you remember the episode where she like wanted to see quote unquote how fat people felt?
Yep.
So she put on a fat suit and like walked around LA, but it's like obviously you're Tyra Banks in a
Yep.
fat suit. It's so stupid.
A clip of hers like resurfaced recently on the internet of her like on like America's Next Top Model, like in the early 2000s, talking to a woman that could not have weighed more than 100 pounds and being like, well, you're clearly in the plus size category, and like you don't have what it takes to be a model, honey. You weigh too much. And like after seeing that and then watching Neon Demon again, I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Horrifying.
The early 2000s were like the meanest time on earth. It was such a mean decade.
For everyone. Yeah. It was horrifying. I mean, like, even things that are considered, like, precious, like, Tom Hanks level, perfect, family friendly. Like, The Simpsons got, like, super mean and transphobic in the mid-2000s, and, like, sexist, and, like, everything was.
There was this reality show that has been scrubbed, like it never happened, but I remember it because I watched it, called The Swan.
Yeah.
It was a beauty contest where women who were quote unquote ugly for different reasons were put in isolation. They all go through multiple extreme plastic surgeries, and like they get veneers and tummy tucks and facelifts and all this sort of shit. And then they compete in a beauty pageant. It's so fucked up. It's like peak 2000s.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I have...
So Tyra Banks is a no.
Yeah, Tyra Banks is a no. I have one that I'm curious about. Because this is a person that straddles the fashion sphere. Not as much, but almost as much as he straddles the film world. And it's someone that I fucking hate. Do you think Tom Ford has seen the Neon Demon?
Yeah. Yes.
I absolutely.
Oh, I feel like I brought up Tom Ford at some point on our podcast, and you were like quiet about it.
I hate him.
I don't actually know anything about him personally.
He just comes off as an asshole.
Yeah, I mean he's a fashion designer.
I've been at an event that he was at, and he had like an incredibly like unhealthily intoxicated Fergie on his arm, who was it was a bad time. And also
Fergie from Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah. And also I've seen his movies and I don't like them. Like I
thought A Single Man was really beautiful.
I haven't seen that one, but I strongly dislike Nocturnal Animals. Like I despise that.
Oh, I didn't see it, but I did like A Single Man. I think that he's seen this. Yeah.
What do you think
he's friends with Nicholas?
I feel like they hang out. Yeah.
Yeah, they seem like they would be simpatico.
They kind of have that like cold, detached demeanor that like you're either like a successful artist and or a serial killer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I've come around on this movie, I will say I thought about Nicholas Winding Refn a lot during the movie, and somewhat uncharitably, I would say for most of the movie, I was like, this is a person who should be working in advertising, who should be doing music videos, but this is a person who like can't really write. And I still think that's true, but I will say sometimes people who can't write are still great filmmakers.
Well,
it doesn't always have to be about the writing.
I haven't seen a ton of his movies because I am not interested in seeing a good number of his movies. He didn't write Drive at all, and he wrote the like story for Neon Demon, but the script was written by Pauline Stenham and Mary Laws.
Yes.
So like he at least knows well enough to like have written a story, a treatment for a film like this, and be like, let me hire 2 female screenwriters.
Yeah, I mean, he did have the self-awareness to be like, I need to have a woman's point of view here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think one of the worst things about Nicholas Winding Refn is that I would get along with him.
I bet I would too. I mean, I don't mean any of this to be like a slam necessarily.
I have friends that like hate him just as a person, and I'm like, sure, man, like, but he makes good shit, and he seems like a fun dude. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's an author I love named Otessa Moshfegh, and people are like, she seems like she hates everybody and everything. And I'm like, yeah. What? You know, she writes great books because of it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I sort of feel like that about him, too.
But what do you think Tom Ford thinks of Neon Demon, though?
I think he would like this.
Yeah.
I think he would like this. I don't think this movie is misogynistic.
Me neither, no.
And I think that I feel like Tom Ford is misogynistic. And I have no evidence to back that up, but I feel like he's that kind of guy.
I'm not gonna disagree. Yeah, I don't really like the way that this movie gets hit with the tag of it being misogynistic because it's immediately from a male director about this stuff.
That's such a lazy,
it's really
myopic.
reductive, and it doesn't take in the fact that this movie was written by women. And
but even if it wasn't,
that it tells that, like,
I hate when people are that wrapped up in identity, because the fact is there have been many, 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 many beautiful movies and books about women written by men. Men can write women. It doesn't mean that they always do a great job, and they can be very bad at it, but it is possible. It has been done.
Yeah.
And it will continue to be done. And the opposite is also.
I think this is a movie that is often misunderstood because of its subject matter, because of the level to which it shocks audiences, and because of its, incredibly beautiful, lush cinematography. A lot of people come into it with a lot of baggage. But I don't know. I think now that we're 6 years away from its release, which, wow, that's weird to think about. I think it's incredible, and I think it's definitely worth a revisit for people that haven't seen it or people that don't have fond memories of it. I think it's an incredible, incredible film, and I think it's flawless.
Yeah, love it. I've come to love it in this conversation. So thank you for that. I guess that is it for this episode of Bloodhouse. If you like this show, please rate it on all your podcasty things. You can email us at bloodhousepod@gmail.com. You can follow us on all the socials. Drusilla, where can people find you?
I'm currently off of social media. Hey, congratulate me.
Even Insta?
Even Insta. It's a mental health thing, but it's for the best, I promise. Leave me alone. But you can find my art over at sisterhighdesign.com. And if you want social media updates from me, listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
What about you, Josh? Where are you lurking at on the interwebs?
I am at Joshua Conkle on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Drusilla, what are we watching next week?
Next week, we will be watching another beautiful modern movie about women
fashion
and
movie
fashion.
Again.
And another one of my favorites. We'll be doing Olivier Zayas' Kristen Stewart starring vehicle, Personal Shopper.
Love it. Cannot wait.